Oh, wait, you said you hit record? Oh. So all of this is being recorded. Good. Good. Chase, any confessions before she starts recording things?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the ZymCast. My name is Chase Matherly.
I'm Kyle Grubb.
I'm Cheyenne. Hi.
Hello.
We finally made it, everyone. We've made it to episode 10.
Wow, what an achievement.
I mean,
What
have you
a
ever made it to
landmark.
episode 10 in the series before?
I've
Yes,
watched
That
we
you've
did.
made?
Oh, that I've made
Last
no.
week, technically. Last week was our 10th
No.
recorded
No.
one. This
2
is going to
weekends-
be our...
2 weeks ago was our 10th.
Okay. Whatever.
What?
No,
oh,
last
yeah,
week.
No, because we
No.
recorded the one
okay.
episode that got, that we
Oh,
will
okay.
never air.
And then the other one that got corrupted.
So technically, this is our 12th recording, but our 10th
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. So, in honor of the 10th episode, I had hired a professional team, a group of crack lyricists.
Oh, no. I didn't know you were actually doing this.
Yeah.
AKA Kyle and the Grubs.
Damn right. And the Grubs thing. I'm just waiting for my family to start helping me. It's just me right now. But you got to be hopeful. To write a hit killer theme song that we have sorely been lacking. Now I know last week's Bella's a Bitch was it was a strong contender.
Or the first episode.
Or the first episode, which
My little do. I don't remember.
I loved it. It made me happy in my soul, just in my soul. But so we still haven't worked out the actual music because that's real hard. But writing stupid words on my phone is very easy. So it's still being photoshopped.
You're photoshopping your words?
It's still being workshopped.
I knew those tweets were doctored.
Damn it. Still being workshopped, but I'm pretty sure it's already a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, and all the workshopping will just get us to like a 13 or a 14.
Out of 10.
Yes, out of 10, obviously. That's how math works. All right, so no, remember, don't be too impressed. Just downplay it. Do.
Oh, no.
Hey, this is the ZymCast with Cheyenne, Chase, and Kyle. They'll talk about some random shit with stupidity and style. Some come gather around one and all and let the fun times last. The podcasting is on its way. Welcome to the ZymCast. Yeah!
Oh, my God.
I actually don't hate that.
How do you feel about that, Cheyenne?
Cheyenne, look, I couldn't talk. It's Cheyenne, Chase.
Like I said, didn't
Claps,
hate
claps
it.
all around. This is me clapping. I don't want to clap too loud, though.
Thanks, Chase.
Oh, my God. You just brought me back to something that happened like 2 years ago, but I'm not going to talk about that.
Oh, but I mean, that's like a new thing. I think we need to talk about like past
Chase.
trauma from Chase.
Oh, yeah. From Chase, apparently.
Chase Lounge.
Actually, I can't talk about it. It was,
Just make it quick.
yeah, no, it was, I think it was 2
Was
years
it
ago.
Andrew, the shitty professor again?
No. I forgot that I mentioned that.
Oh,
But-
I didn't.
Yeah, no, you just brought it up.
I'm never letting it go.
Yeah, no, it was when I was leaving to go to San Francisco,
Mhm.
and I was working where you're working
Yes.
with you
Mhm.
and the girl over there, Cheyenne.
She was also there.
She was there, and it was my last day, and it was a supervisor's last day as well.
Mhm. I
And
recall this.
I got a cookie cake, or we got a cookie cake, I should say, that had both of our names on it, and it said like "Happy Last Day" something blank and Chase, and and it was spelled Shase, and I was like,
Did no one notice?
one guy went to go pick it up. Our friend went and picked it up, and he says that he told him to do it.
Yeah. Okay. So I was there when he did that because I was down in box and he talked to me a lot. And as he was going out of the theater to go get it, he was like, I'm totally going to tell them to mess up Chase's name.
Lies.
And I was like, okay. And he
Okay.
walks back in and he's like, look what I did.
Well,
I
because
was
see,
like,
at first he like downplayed it as if it was a mistake, and then like later on he said it wasn't, and I'm like, I don't know if I believe you.
no, but he told me he was doing it on purpose.
Okay, convenient.
Which is the truth? Which is the lie? We're gonna play a new game here. Truth or lie? Okay, no, she's shaking her head. No more games. We don't have time for games today. So
Well, we do have time for one game,
one game.
Boy.
but before that,
What you been up to this week, Chase?
I've been playing a lot of Mortal Kombat.
Nice.
Except,
Shitty Switch version.
yeah, the shitty Switch version. Except, I've been playing the story mode
Mhm.
like pretty frequently. on my work breaks and whenever I have time,
Mhm.
and I'm pretty good, except for the fact that I'm actually trash. Because we were playing with my friends the other day. It was yesterday, actually.
I was gonna say, was it yesterday?
It was yesterday, and I
Got brutality'd a lot.
yeah, I couldn't win. I think I won once against
Did
someone who's
anybody,
never played
like-
before.
What's that? What's the thing where you can like let your opponent get like half their freaking life bar back just to taunt them? I know that's a thing in the game.
Is
too.
it?
Yes.
I've not come
It's
across
like a
that.
mercy or something like that, where like you get extra points by winning after letting them get away with this.
Oh, I don't know. I
It's
haven't
like
seen that.
true evil.
No, but yeah, apparently I'm trash, and I
Oh.
need to uninstall.
And you
Or
get
get good.
brutality'd a lot
You gotta get good.
by multiple people.
Yeah.
You just get gang raped.
Yeah, brutality. But what else happened was Cheyenne and I, for Mother's Day, we went with both our mothers to the Renaissance Fair.
I saw pictures.
Yeah, without Kyle.
Hey, I would like to point out I was invited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is an opportunity where I don't get to play the victim. I was absolutely invited. I did not go.
I know you didn't. What did you do? What were you up to?
I'm dying again.
Yeah, you're dying every week.
Actually, no. Ignore the cough. I am actually mostly better now.
Ignore the cough. I'm in fine health.
It's just a lingering cough. You know, everybody has a lingering cough.
Uh-huh.
You're literally
Oh, me, yeah, today.
cough drops and tea right there.
I'm drinking tea right now because my throat is terrible.
Wow, not painful, terrible. So this week mostly just work. A lot of crazy stuff at work, but no need to really get into it.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And then basically the two things I've been doing. I promised an update for Days Gone.
Right.
I've probably plugged in another like 10 or 15 hours into the game. This game is fucking long.
That's good.
It is good. I'm really happy about it, but like I had to have plugged in like 35 hours into this game and I am nowhere near the end of the story.
Okay. I have never heard someone refer to it as plugging in hours,
Yeah.
but okay.
Okay.
It's
well,
funny.
okay. I've put in about 35, 40 hours into this game. I don't know. The game doesn't have like a hour clock thing.
On the
whatever.
save slot? No?
No.
Weird.
It just says what time I saved it.
Okay.
I'm like, cool. Glad to know I saved it in May. Thanks.
I always love going back to games and like you've seen the last saves from like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
You're like, it
whoops.
hasn't been that. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
like I just played it
has.
like a few months ago. Oh, 2 years?
oh,
shit.
shit.
I guess it was 24 months ago.
Yep. Yeah, that game is really good. Like I knew leaving like from last week that I would probably be higher on the game than I was. Yeah, I really like this game.
Yeah, good.
I feel like this game has gotten a really bad rap, and it gets so much better the farther you get into it. Like the story gets really interesting. You start meeting a lot of really cool characters. The gameplay gets better, but that's mostly just because like you have skills and abilities that
Yeah.
you can use
You
and
just
like
have to
cooler weapons.
Get over that hump.
You literally do. You have to. You get better fuel tanks, so you don't have to constantly refuel your bike as much. So I mean, like a lot of the game's problems, it just like overcomes. It does take about though like 10 hours to get past like the bad parts, and then like the farther you get into it, the better it gets. But like last week, I still have a hard time recommending people a game where it takes like 10 hours to get out of mediocrity. But if you are down for like an open world, like checklist, fun little zombie game, it's a hoot.
Hoot and a half.
A hoot and a half.
man.
They're like the hordes in the game are awesome. There's no way around it. But there is one horde that I ran into that is like astronomically bigger than anything else I'd run into. That was like,
Sounds cool.
it was so big. It was like, there's probably like 300 or 400 zombies in the
That's
fucking
what she
thing.
said.
Yep. There's probably like 300 or 400 Cheyenne's look of shame. Like 300 or 400 zombies in this horde. And I wish I could
Like all
record my
rendered
reaction
in
to it.
properly.
Well, I mean, they were far enough away, but like they're like flooding down like this thing,
Oof.
charging at me. I was
Oof.
like, and I just started laughing because I didn't know how else to respond to
Hysterics.
that.
That's hysterics.
It's just
my
like,
friend.
oh, jeez.
Oh,
And I'm
fuck.
just like running away, and I keep looking behind me just to see this humongous fucking horde. I was like, I'm fucked. And I'm just like laughing my ass off.
Existential laughing.
Something like that. But no, the game is really interesting. I definitely think if anybody is curious about it or was interested, the reviews were definitely harsh. I think it's probably like, if I had to give it like a review, it's sitting somewhere between like a 7 and an 8, which some people are like, well, that's not worth buying. Like, that's a good to great game.
Yeah.
But some people only function from the review scores only go from 7 to 10. Have you never seen that?
No.
Yeah, it's like a known thing where like reviews, especially for video games, tend to hover somewhere between 7 to 10, and anything lower than that is like considered garbage.
Oh yeah. I'm like I'm pretty sure I've seen a 6, but that was just garbage.
Yeah, exactly. Even though in theory a 5 should be a totally average game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
My perspective has shifted.
Well, there you go. But no, I think it's like a really good to great game, and I don't think there's any shame in that. And the game has a lot of content. It's very much a good bang for your buck. So if that's the kind of game you're looking for, that's fine. Bear in mind, it does take a little while to get to the zombie hordes. If you're looking for zombie hordes, as we mentioned last week, World War Z exists.
Yes.
That's like $40, I think.
Still want to play that.
Yep, and you still should. Other than that, the only other pop culture thing I've really been up to this week, I've watched the first half of the first season of The Society on Netflix. It's a very interesting show. It has its weird like writing moments, but I actually think, okay, so going into the show blind is probably one of the most interesting ways to do it, but like
Is there a way of not
What?
going blind? What do you mean?
Like going in blind isn't like having no idea what the show's about.
Oh. Okay.
That's how I watched it. Somebody's like, "Oh, you should watch this show on Netflix." I'm like, "What's it about?" They're like, "Just watch it."
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, "Okay." So I didn't even like read the synopsis.
Okay, I thought you meant like going in blind, like
No.
I don't even know what you meant actually.
Okay.
I can't really.
Not even knowing how it ends.
No,
or-
okay. No, I thought you meant like not knowing. Yeah, not knowing how it ends, not knowing the things that happen. I'm like, well, isn't that every show? Don't you go in blind to every show?
You'd think. No. I literally had no idea what the show was about. But that being said, so if you're interested in, not knowing even the general premise of the show, just like mute this for like 15 seconds. So the whole thing about the show is it's like a bunch of kids who are like taken out of their town for a trip, but like the trip is canceled. They get dropped back off by the buses and they find that their town is completely abandoned.
Oh,
And like a forest that seemingly stretches on forever has surrounded the entire town.
that sounds cool.
So it's Lord of the Flies.
Kind of. It's a bunch of high schoolers, like a bunch of seniors in high school, and basically there are no adults, there are no kids, there's nothing, and they're just trapped in the middle of this town. And it's really interesting because it goes deep on like
Ooh, I should watch this.
then like trying to figure out how to like create a society that like functions and works and like figure out laws and all the different. It's really
That's cool.
it's actually super fascinating. Like, and it has like its issues. And there are like a couple twists and turns that I kind of saw coming a mile away. But
Is it really a twist then?
I mean,
Or is it
it's a shocking moment, but I had a feeling it was coming.
Ah,
But I really think the show is interesting. It's got a pretty good cast. The acting is, I mean, generally good. It's kind of inconsistent.
okay.
And like the individual character writing could be a little stronger,
Uh huh.
but the overall like large concepts and stuff the show is tackling is like really cool. And so I really like it.
Okay. You're saying the character development isn't as good as other shows?
I can't say it's character development yet. I'm not far enough in the show.
Ah.
But just like general character writing, you're just like, some of these characters are just like broad painted stereotypes. But yeah, I don't think we can go much longer.
I was trying to segue.
I know you were. I just wanted to correct a statement.
I know.
But yeah, the one game that Chase has had time for this week,
Yeah.
and the one thing I think we're going to spend most of this episode talking about, Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I like how you got quieter.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
It saddens my soul.
Whatever. So, Game of Thrones, we are speaking about episode 5 in the 8th season, final season. And sorry for the short episode if you're not going to continue past this point, because this is probably where we get into spoiler territory.
Yeah. We're not just going to talk about the 5th episode though, because like we haven't touched on
Yeah.
anything.
But that is the most
but
recent one
the
for
brunt
our...
of this conversation is going to be talking about the
Yeah.
penultimate episode of the show.
Yes, of the entire series.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this season is a bit of a point of contention.
I mean, one could say that. One could say it's actually like somebody described it to me as divisive.
Yes.
And I
Isn't
don't
that
know if
what
I
a
agree
point-
with
isn't
that.
that what a point of contention is?
Kind of, but I don't know if I agree with that because there's a general consensus about this show that maybe you don't necessarily completely agree with.
Isn't that what divides it?
No, because again, I'd say like 90% of the people watching the show are probably like generally in line where I am.
I would say 90% of the people on Twitter that voice their opinion of the show, not necessarily 100%.
I've talked to a lot of people.
Eh.
I know. And again, that's just, personal anecdote and stuff like that doesn't match up. But yeah, a lot of people that wish to make their voices known on the internet very displeased with the directions the show has taken.
Bandwagoners, all of you.
I have literally been watching this show since the fucking moment it aired.
No, I mean, most people probably have been. It's just the fact that
That's not true.
I've
Actually,
seen-
the show gained a lot of steam in like its second and third seasons. That's not the point.
well, okay, no. My point is that I mean, at least people have seen every episode.
Yes.
But what the kind of feeling that I had when watching this floodgate open of tweets coming in that are like mostly negative about this episode, and therefore like people's opinions about how the show is going, it feels like at first there wasn't necessarily that many negative, maybe like one or two, and then all of a sudden people started having the same opinion and in for the same reasons, which is like, okay, some of them are like have points, but at the same time it's like no one has their own argument. It seems like everyone's just going based on what everyone else says.
Now, to be fair, though, I mean, there's definitely some of that. But also, you need to bear in mind that, like, if there's a problem with a show, like a particular problem,
I can see that too.
then, like, if everyone agrees on that problem, it doesn't mean that everybody's like, yeah. And they're like, or like, legitimately, a lot of people are recognizing, like, there is a flaw in how the show is being handled. Okay. So let's kind of catch up. First episode was just like general setup episode. We kind of talked about it a few weeks ago. Second episode was another setup episode, but I think it was much better.
Yeah.
Had a lot of great moments.
Episode 2 is better.
Yeah. I think episode 2 is the best episode of the season in terms of like writing, in my opinion.
Okay.
The show has gone downhill since then with every episode being worse afterwards.
Okay.
Episode 3 was the Battle of Winterfell. I mean, we can get a bit more in depth here.
I liked it.
I know you did. I know you liked it quite a lot, according to your tweet.
Yeah.
Technically, a very impressive episode. I wish it were brighter. That is, but then again,
Yeah.
like that's just almost a meme at this point. About how dark that episode was.
Yeah.
I was on a TV. I turned up the brightness. I watched it in the dark. I still had a hard time following what was going on, especially for the first half.
Well, I similarly watched it in the dark. I think it was just because it was nighttime anyway. Not because I forced it to be dark, but I did have to put it on vivid to see basically everything in the shots. But I liked it.
Okay.
Like for the tone that it set.
Okay, there's a line because like the darkness in the beginning of the episode, I think served a really good point. I think that, you know, all of the shots with like the Dothraki with the fire swords when they're riding, and then when the fires are being extinguished one by one, like that was super cool. But the problem was, like when the battle started, I understand that they're trying to set like a chaotic tone, and like things are just going crazy and shit. The problem was there were literally scenes where I could not see what was happening, and people are dying, and I'm like, I don't know if I know this person or if they're just a random extra.
Yeah. I mean, did you feel that way for the most of the episode or just the beginning?
For the first half, like
Okay.
the first 45 minutes. Once they got into Winterfell itself, it got a little better.
Yeah.
But still, it's like half a fucking episode of hard to follow bullshit. And then like the dragons are just flying through like mist, and you're just like, what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, there was a point where you couldn't really tell which dragon was which dragon.
Yeah, you mean like most of it?
Yeah.
Like
That
they're just
was
like dragons flying and like 3 dragons fighting, and I'm like, which one am I rooting for?
Like, oh, I see a hole in that one. Okay, that one's probably the undead
Yeah,
one.
and they're like biting each other, and I'm just like, yay, boo? I don't know. But the second half of the episode is definitely stronger than the first. There were really good moments in the episode. Theon's final moments I thought were great.
Oh yes, he's a good man.
Yep. Thank you, Theon. You're a good man. Like, hit me in the feels. He had a good character arc. That
The
actually
only
closed out.
character to ever go up straight against one-on-one the Night King.
It's true.
Yeah.
And he lost
And he
really
lost.
badly.
Well, I mean, that was to be expected. But he has that fucking badass privilege.
Yep.
Of dying at the Night King's hand.
Yep. It was pretty powerful moment. I watched a video of somebody saying like, you know, the most satisfying, because okay, the controversial thing about this episode, I think the most controversial thing was
This episode
Arya.
or three?
No, like 3.
Yeah.
The episode we're talking about was Arya killing the Night King.
Yeah.
I have problems with this. Not because it wasn't an awesome moment. I cheered while watching the episode because it was a great moment. But it's when you step back and think about it, it kind of bothered me. And I think that's actually a problem that's concurrently happening with these last couple episodes.
Okay.
So
I can probably think of what it is, but go ahead.
no, what were you thinking?
I'm thinking for you.
No, okay, what do you think I'm going to say?
Something that I've heard about Arya killing the Night King was like, why her
Well, I mean, yeah.
specifically?
Yes.
But, okay, so what was your problem if it wasn't
Okay.
that?
So the problem was, this is a thing that's been going on, I think, for a little while now. if you watch the earlier seasons of Game of Thrones, things are set up. Everything that happens, all the tragedies that happen, they might be surprises, but you can see a causal chain that leads to them. Beheading of Ned Stark, it's a shock, but you see it coming.
Yeah.
The Red Wedding, it's a shock, but you can see how all the, like the dominoes were lined up.
Yep.
Weiss and Benioff had decided 2 or 3 years ago that Arya was going to kill the Night King. And in the post-episode talk, they basically mentioned, like, it'll work because nobody will see it coming. It'll be a shocking moment. That's not a good reason to have that happen.
Yeah.
Look, I love Arya. She's one of my favorite characters in the show. I think that's true about most people. And so, like, her getting that kill is a super cool moment. But it doesn't feel earned. First of all, there's the thing that everybody's complaining about. How the fuck did she get there? It's in a forest full of fucking whites and White Walkers, and she just jumps like 30 feet through the air to try and stab him.
Yeah, there was kind of that. There's the argument that the scene with her going through the library, and like through the hallways was like, I guess it would be twofold. Like one, it's kind of like a relief, like what the showrunners were saying at the post credit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying like they need like a some spacing or some pacing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
like,
it was important. Like that's actually one of the stronger scenes in the episode.
I think another thing that it does is, demonstrate her sneakiness in a sense.
But this is different.
But they also it was known that she snuck up on Jon in the same area. But it's like, it's Jon alone versus the Night King surrounded by whites.
Yeah, because there, I think like 30 seconds earlier, there's a top-down scene where there is a fucking circle of enemies that are filling this entire area. And there's just like a little open area with Bran and the Night King. Like, she literally had to like jump from like a fucking tree, like 30 feet away.
She has climbed trees.
30 feet away, soaring in the background. But then there's like that weird scene where like there's like the wind blows like next to like one of the White Walkers. Like, what does that even mean? Well, she's so fast that no one could even notice her until it was too late. Of course. It just feels weird.
See, okay, one of the problems I had with that episode as well, kind of going away from Arya, but still relevant to that scene, the fucking White Walkers didn't do shit that episode. Not a single fucking thing. It was all like grunt whites, fucking zombies, skeletons that did all the work, and the White Walker generals did fucking fuck all. Yeah.
No, it was not satisfying in a lot of different
ways.
It's
like in the past, when
in Hardhome?
Was it Hardhome?
Where Jon like fought the one White Walker that was like leading the armies?
That one too, but also when Daenerys lost her first dragon.
Oh yeah.
The White Walker just gave the spear.
Yeah, I know they do nothing in the show.
He's like,
and now they're all dead.
Just reloads the Night King's fucking spear.
It's so stupid. It's like they didn't know what to do with the fucking show. Like literally, somebody said this. I don't know who said this, but it was very prescient. Basically, somebody's like, it's like watching a movie. 2/3 of the way through, all of your heroes kill Satan, and then we have to watch who's going to be elected president.
Okay. So we'll get to that, I think, towards when we talk about this episode that was aired. Because I do have an argument, like from a different perspective I can see.
I feel like I know where you're going to go, and I don't completely disagree with that.
Yeah.
But the problem is the show has been telling us
from the first episode.
From the first scene of the first episode, and also like concurrently, the farther we gotten in the show, these last couple seasons, all we're being told is this shit doesn't matter. There's something more important. We need to handle the White Walker threat. Mm-hmm. That's what the show has been telling us. Like, it seemed like the whole point of the show is like everyone's so caught up in these stupid petty squabbles over the throne that they're losing sight of the real problem. And the real problem was dealt with in a single episode with one young girl stabbing one guy.
Yep. One dead guy.
It's just like, oh. So yeah. And so like you have that moment, like even what would have even been more satisfying is even if like Arya dropped down from the fucking tree on like
that would have been cool too.
That would have been cool. Somebody was like, it would have been so awesome if like she ripped off Bran's face and it was her. I'm like, that doesn't work.
Then she would have had to kill Bran.
Yeah, well, first of all, but like you also like the Night King knows exactly where Bran is because of the mark.
And
I'm just like, that would have been so dumb.
And the whole point of keeping Bran safe.
I know.
I've heard someone say like, oh, why didn't who the fuck needs Bran? Why didn't he kill him? Like the whole point was to keep him safe because he is humanity's memory.
It's so dumb. It's just stupid. It just feels like the easy way out. And literally there was a point in the episode, like right towards the end, where things were so bad for our heroes, I knew we had to win.
Yeah.
Because like I had mentioned, I think that like, the big thing is like they're gonna like retreat, and then like the White Walkers are gonna march south.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what I
the big
thought.
battle was going to happen at King's Landing, where they just actually decide the future. I don't know if that would have been better or worse, but I feel like it would have at least brought all the storylines together.
Yeah.
Maybe give Cersei something to do in this season,
Except for drink wine outside
and,
her window.
and stare up in balconies,
Get paid $1 million an episode.
and have like sex with one guy.
Yeah, begrudgingly.
Yes.
Ugh.
And just, everyone cares about her because she has a baby inside of her. God, good writing.
Yeah.
Cheyenne's raised eyebrow. So yeah, I have issues with that, but it was still a good episode overall. I didn't
Yeah.
hate it. It just had problems.
And that like Arya killing the Night King, something could be said about, her being / conquering death, and like or the Night King representing death itself. That's all well and good, and that's interesting, I think. But
It just didn't feel narratively satisfying.
yeah, considering that everyone expected that to be the big bad.
Yeah, and you were expecting Jon or Daenerys to be the ones to do it because they have personal stake in this.
Yeah.
Now that's not to say that having it be a shocking moment or like having it be someone else is unsatisfying, because you can definitely pull that off. I just feel like they decided it was going to be Arya, so they made it Arya
Yeah.
because they like Arya, and it would be a surprise.
And
I feel like if Theon had actually been the one to kill the Night King, or like at least helped in some way, I feel like it would have felt more satisfying.
that would have been funny.
Well, I mean, like, not he just runs up and he just stabs the
No,
Night
I
King and
know what
wins.
you mean.
But like, even because like there's that weird moment where Theon's like on the floor after he got stabbed, and it kind of pans to him, and it looks like he's about to do something, and then he just dies.
I thought for sure, because wait, how did the Night King kill him again?
He just
like through
grabbed
with
him
a
and just
spear?
stabbed him.
Was it a spear, like a sword, or?
I think he used his own spear to kill him.
I thought it was a spear, yeah. Because I thought for sure, for some reason, when he was like on his knees, dying, I thought for sure he was either gonna like pull the spear out and stab the Night King with it, or like do some like weird maneuver that also gets the Night King.
I don't think like him necessarily doing the killing blow would have felt super satisfying, but I
I
really
don't think
would
it
have
was
loved.
satisfying. I just thought I'm like,
But I
what the
really
fuck's
would have
happening?
loved even just a small change to possibly save this scene. It was just like he grabs like the Night King's like ankle as the Night King's walking away, and he turns, and that's when Arya comes out of fucking nowhere to get him.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would have at least been like, hey, Theon actually accomplished something by helping a little bit or something. I don't know. I just, it's not the biggest problem on earth. It was just like a little like nitpick. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. It just feels like that was a choice the writers made, and they had the characters and the story work around it. All right, but I mean, that's enough about episode 3. Let's move on to episode 4, The Last of the Starks. It's just characters making poor choices and being blind. All right, so the first half of the episode I really liked. I thought it was kind of back to the Game of Thrones political stuff we enjoyed. And then fucking Daenerys and her dragons miss a giant fleet of people. And the Scorpions have like fucking
that was like
aimbots.
the big point of contention of that specific episode.
Yes.
Was how the fuck did she not see like a whole thing of ships?
And
Have an
how did
aerial
they have
view,
perfect fucking aim?
perfect aim to take down her second dragon?
Yep. It just seemed like somebody rubbed their last vial of dragon homing juice onto those fucking like spears and like shot him into
Yeah.
yeah.
And well, I mean, we kind of skipped over the first thing that happened in the episode was the scene at Winterfell following the carnage, and Daenerys names Gendry a Baratheon.
Yep.
Right, gives him Storm's End, which is for her own political reason. That was like very Game of Thronesy, right? And he proposes to Arya, who declines.
Yep. Not a shock.
Not a shock. But I mean, you could tell that when he was saying that she could be like the lady.
Oh, yeah.
So that's exactly when he lost her. It's like,
Yeah, it's like she's not a lady, bro.
No.
How do you not know that at
by
this
now.
point?
Like he's called her every time like Lady Stark.
As a
And,
taunt,
yeah, as
practically.
a taunt, because he knows that she doesn't like that. But I think that's very important for Arya's character, right?
Yeah.
She is not a lady. She doesn't have that kind of tie, and she doesn't want that tie. She's given up most of her. Like she actually didn't want to give up her name
Mm-hmm.
right? She didn't want to become a faceless.
She still wants to be her, but
yeah.
who she is not like just some
Yeah.
lady of a castle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's never who she's going to be.
No.
She's just our badass little assassin girl. But yeah, that is true. That is important. Also, it's important to mention the whole like conversation between John and Danny, where she's like, "You can't tell anyone if you love me and want us to be together," and he's like, "But I have to tell my family."
Yeah, it's my
she's
family.
like, "If you tell this, that will destroy us," and he's
we
like,
can have both.
he's like, "No, it's totally fine. They'll keep a secret." I'm like, "Do you know Sansa at all?"
John is the stupidest person in Westeros.
It pisses me off so much because he shouldn't be this stupid.
No.
Like,
he's too fucking like everything's gonna go great.
yep. He's like, "No, everything will be perfect. I don't want to be king, so no one will bother. It'll be fine. I bend the knee." And she's like, "They won't care." As long as everyone knows, you're just gonna be a problem, whether you want to be or not, because they'll like force you onto the throne or like all this stuff because you're like a male Targaryen heir. Like we can't fuck with this. And he's like,
Fine.
"But I'm gonna tell my family."
Yeah, I don't want it. They're not gonna give it to me.
Here's my problem. The first season of Game of Thrones is all about teaching us that being straightforward, being honest, is what got Ned Stark killed.
Exactly.
He couldn't play the game. But now our like quote unquote hero of the show, John, is making all of the same mistakes, and I feel like he's not going to suffer for it.
I don't know. I feel like he potentially will.
I mean, maybe.
Well, I
but
feel like he has. Well, in this episode, he's in a sense
yeah,
suffered for it.
but like he still might come out on top.
it's possible.
Eh.
Um,
Yeah, and then so they're like, we're gonna go march south and fight for the throne. We're gonna, take King's Landing. Blah blah
yeah.
blah blah blah.
So like John and the Onion Knight. What's his fucking name?
Davos.
Davos. Yeah. John and Davos were heading down with all the Northmen, and Dany with
Basically all her people.
all her people were sailing to
Dragonstone?
Dragonstone. That's right. But Jaime stays behind with Brienne, who he fucking.
Yep.
Yeah.
They finally got together.
Yeah, which was okay. So I think it was in this episode. I can't remember if it was this episode or the last episode. No, maybe it's just like this overall season where Jamie became my favorite character.
I love Jamie.
Yeah,
Loved Jamie.
loved Jamie until like
It was the second episode. It was the second episode when he knighted her that like really cemented that.
Yeah, no, yeah. When he knighted Brienne, I was like, oh man. But it was this episode. It was the end of this episode where he leaves.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this is where I'm like, what are you doing?
I kind of saw this coming. I'm not surprised, and it hurts me, but it doesn't feel false to his character. It just feels like a slap in the face.
Yeah, and it took me this episode, like
Episode 5, you mean?
the episode, actually episode 5. The not even after watching it, but after having a few days,
Mhm.
like the episode as a whole, like it is cemented, or it's kind of had time to cure.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
You've settled on it.
I've settled on it and I understand now. But like when it first happened, I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, he's with Brienne, he's happy, he's staying up north. He finds out that like, yeah, they're going to like just murder Cersei, and that part deep inside of him that loves his twin sister.
Well, the news that he got was that the Iron Fleet destroyed
Daenerys' fleet,
yeah.
and they captured Missandei, and so
that's really
it's when he realized how like, oh, this is not going to end well.
Yeah.
And Sansa says that line. It's like, I really wished I would have been there to watch your sister get like murdered. And he's like,
I think everyone would
Right?
have liked to see that.
I know. And so he's just like, shit. And so he rides south, and Bran's like, stay with me. And he's like, no, she's a shitty person, and so am I.
Yeah.
And he rides south, and you're like, well, there goes his redemptive arc. Bye, Jamie.
Yeah, I was like, I was rooting for you.
But yeah, I mean, with these last couple episodes, I get why he did it. And it just still hurts because we fucking hate Cersei. And we love you, Jamie. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Missandei is captured by the Iron Fleet, taken, and then we have the dumbest scene in Game of Thrones. I don't think enough people are talking about how stupid this scene is. So,
When they go to King's Landing?
yes, where they have that little parlay outside the gates of King's Landing.
Yeah.
So,
originally when I first saw that scene and it pans to the Unsullied and Daenerys, I'm like, really, Cersei?
yeah. So, just for Cheyenne's sake, all of Cersei's enemies are standing in front of the gates of King's Landing. Also, on the walls of King's Landing are like 1,000 murder death turrets.
The Scorpions.
The Scorpions. And she doesn't kill them all. I mean, yeah, they're having a parlay.
Yeah. That would have been true to Cersei's character.
I would have done it.
She fucking blew up the Sept of Baelor.
Yeah. Full of like a bunch of innocent people. But literally
with
just
her
like
enemies.
Her rival queen, her rival queen's dragon, fucking like
The High Sparrow.
Every single no, I'm just saying like every important enemy she has left is all standing in front of her. She has these fucking scorpions, and she's like,
Oh, I thought you meant
no,
the
I wasn't
Sept of
talking about
Baelor.
that. I'm talking about this last episode where I was just like,
you're right.
Cersei, you really probably should have just killed him. I wouldn't have wanted that. That would have pissed me the fuck off. But it makes no sense that you didn't.
Yeah.
It seemed like a very poor decision on the writer's part. And you know, they scared you out thinking that Tyrion was going to get killed and like all this other
I
shit.
didn't think that.
I kind of did. But yeah, and then she's just like, okay, Mountain, just decapitate Missandei and really send a message.
Yeah.
Missandei gets her final words. Dracarys, I say final words, it's one word.
Yeah.
She gets decapitated, falls off the thing, and let's just say Dany is furious.
Yeah. She just lost her second dragon.
Yep.
And her best friend.
Basically, yeah. Her best friend and one of her most trusted advisors.
Yep.
And
And
yes.
after having just lost one of her other most trusted advisors and someone who loved her unconditionally,
Yep.
Jorah Mormont in the previous episode.
Yeah. So she's basically lost a lot of her support structure. Also, she's seeing how like much everybody loves Jon, and she's freaking
and
out.
not her.
And
at all.
The one more important thing from the previous episode we need to mention is because yes, Jon did tell Sansa and Arya. Arya probably kept her mouth shut. I have no doubts. But Sansa told Tyrion.
Immediately.
And probably everyone else too.
Yeah.
And so Tyrion...
Well, Sansa told Tyrion knowing that Tyrion would tell
Yes.
Varys, and Varys would tell everybody.
Yeah. So Sansa tells Tyrion, like, hey, Jon's the real true heir to the Iron Throne. And so Tyrion tells Varys. They have a conversation. Varys is like, look...
This guy's better.
I don't know if I trust Daenerys. Like, she's making some questionable decisions. She's getting like ruled by anger.
And wasn't that thing that like Varys said that if ever she or he thinks a decision that she makes is bad, he will tell her straight up. And he did. And she
didn't
like,
care.
I don't give a fuck.
Yep. He's like,
and that
this
would've
is
been
a
the first thing,
mistake.
like I can't be true to you anymore.
Yep. And so he has a conversation with Tyrion. He's like, look, I'm going to back Jon Snow. And Tyrion's like, you should not do this. That is a mistake.
Yeah.
That is treason. And he's like, well, it's what I have to do. Like my duty is to serve the realm. I serve the people. Just because, yeah, you have your important like stuff. There are hundreds of thousands of faces that we don't know.
And
that
the
are just as
important part is that Daenerys is not from Westeros. Like,
I mean, she was
really, she
born
did
there,
not
but
grow up in
yes.
Westeros, so she has no real attachment to the people, and the people have no
Exactly.
attachment to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was told growing up that like, oh, they whisper the Targaryen name in secret, and
They would
like,
they would throw open the doors and welcome you when you return.
yeah,
and that's
she
not what
came
happened.
back, and no one fucking likes her. No one
Yeah.
cares.
Yeah.
And
Again, this is all setting stuff up, but now it's time to go on to episode 5, The Bells.
yeah, and I did not. My voice just cracked. I
heard.
did not realize that the episode was named "The Bells" until after I saw it.
Yeah.
And I could tell from the second time I heard Tyrion mention the bells that it was gonna be a big, important part.
Yep. Okay. So we basically open the episode in Dragonstone. Varys is plotting to poison Daenerys.
Yeah, unsuccessfully so far.
Completely unsuccessfully, and he's also sending messages to the various lords of Westeros, basically telling everybody that Jon Snow is the true heir.
Mm-hmm. Well, to whom we think is the Lords of Westeros. It's
Yeah,
not
we
really
don't know who he
explicit.
sent it to, but we were seeing him writing like notes and letters.
Or even if he got to send any, because he was
I'm
writing.
sure he sent some.
I'm sure he did.
Because then it cuts to a completely different scene with him talking to Jon, and then it cuts back to him and the things. I feel like he had time to send some of these out.
And the thing is, he fucking walks up onto the beach in front of all the Unsullied and basically says that he backs Jon as like the true heir.
Jon, you're the real king. It's like, I don't know. Like, he mentions that classic line where it's like every time a Targaryen is born, you flip a coin
Yeah.
to see if they're like mad. He's like, I'm not sure about her, but I know about you.
Yeah.
You'll be a good king.
Exactly.
And he's like, I'm not the king. She's my queen. He's
Yeah.
like, but she shouldn't be.
And he's like, she's my queen.
Yep. And he like walks away. Tyrion tells Daenerys that Varys is plotting treason.
Yes.
And she looks like a mess.
Oh my God, she looks like because it was stated that she hasn't been eating.
Yeah.
Like
Which is the only reason she's alive.
yeah, ironically, but it does not look that way. Like
No, yeah, she looks despondent, she looks haggard, she looks thin, and she feels isolated, and so she knows through her own means that Jon basically told Sansa, who told Tyrion, who told Varys. She basically views it like everybody is betraying her.
Yeah.
And she basically, I mean, just like jumping to the chase, she executes Varys for treason, burning him alive.
In a very Mad Queen way too.
Yeah, burning
Like-
him alive.
He didn't scream though.
I know, it's kind of weird.
I was like expecting him to scream, and it's
Everybody else screams. Somebody was like, I mean, it's supposed to burn you so fast you don't have time to scream. The rest of the episode seems to disagree.
yeah, it does.
So
Well, I mean, okay, so one of the main reasons that Varys really turncoated was the fact that they were trying to figure out a battle plan as to how they would take King's Landing.
without killing all the people in it.
Well, I mean, they were trying to make a battle plan in general of how to take King's Landing. Varys and Tyrion were both trying to be like, how we do this without killing all the innocent people. Daenerys didn't seem to give a fuck either way.
Yep.
They were like, was it Grey Worm that like recommended going in, or was like
Yes.
anyone? Yeah.
Grey Worm's
basically-
pissed. He lost his lady love.
Yeah, that's true. His character is interesting too.
Yeah.
But they just want to go in fucking guns blazing. No guns, but yeah, you know.
I know what you
swords,
mean.
Swords blazing.
Swords blazing.
The thing is
No,
that Cersei
Melisandre
has.
isn't here anymore. They can't go in swords blazing.
It's true. But the thing is, Cersei, being smart as fuck, also let all the innocents into the fucking Red Keep.
Yep. So that if they tried to attack the Red Keep, they would have to kill innocents. She's basically using her own people as a shield.
Yeah. Wow. What a great queen.
I mean, it's a smart plan
It
if
is
you don't
smart.
want to die, but you're a terrible person.
Yeah. But the thing is, Daenerys didn't seem to give a fuck.
No. So
Tyrion did, and Varys did, and that was why Varys was like, because she seemed hesitant to agree
Even
with them.
consider.
Yeah, even consider. And he's like, oh, if she's even thinking of like not doing that, then
yeah. So Tyrion has a scene with Daenerys where he's like, "Look, we need to," like he's like, she's on her throne in Dragonstone. He's like, "We need to come up with a plan."
Oh wait, first though, did you not love that scene where he was walking up to her and like the dragon on the wall behind him, like walking into the dragon's mouth? I was like, oh, this fucking imagery.
Yep.
Go ahead.
All right. So basically, he has a scene with Daenerys. He's like, "Hey, seriously, we need to come up with a plan to not kill all these people and take the city peacefully. I'm pretty sure I know how to do it." And he's like, "Look, if the city guard surrenders, like if the city surrenders, they will ring the bells of King's Landing. When they do that, please accept the surrender and like just go to the Red Keep and do whatever you want with Cersei.
Take your throne.
You're queen. Like if the city
what's the-
surrenders,
what-
you win."
The bells ring, you win.
Yep. So he's just like, so just don't forget that. If the bells ring,
Yep.
we win.
Like he emphasized it. First time I was like, okay, that's what he's trying to get done. Second time he says it, I'm like, uh-oh.
But also Cersei's like, look, they view our mercy as weakness. Mercy is our strength. Our mercy will extend to all of the future generations that will not be raised by tyrants, like ruled over by tyrants. Basically, she's like, look, I will do whatever I have to do now so that future generations won't have to be under
And
Cersei's
this was
rule.
directly after Daenerys or Jon comes back and sees Daenerys and like she tries kissing him and he's like
He's just
still-
not quite into
he's
it.
still like just not quite into it. You're my aunt, whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, let it be fear then.
Yep.
Which you never want to hear after making out with
Yeah, because
Making out
she's
with
basically like, look, I don't have any love with these people. My only option is fear.
yeah.
And he's
And
like,
he's
you
not
don't have to
giving-
do
he's
that.
not giving her love.
And so he doesn't quite return the love that she's trying to give. So let it be fear then. And you're just like, I know where this is fucking going.
This is not good.
And yeah, so also she reveals to Tyrion that Jaime was caught trying to sneak into King's Landing.
Right.
So we have a great scene between Tyrion and Jaime.
That was a great scene.
So good.
That almost made me emotional.
That did make me emotional.
Well, I mean, it made me emotional.
Well, it's
but-
their last scene together in the show, so it makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
And he was so emotional too.
Yep.
That
So
was great
basically,
acting.
it's a great scene between two great actors playing great characters.
Mm-hmm.
Where essentially Tyrion is like, "Look, I know you've been captured. I'm going to smuggle you into King's Landing. Go to Cersei, convince her to leave, convince her just to like run away. I'll set up a ship for you. You can try and go to Essos and just start a new life. Just move on. She's pregnant with your child. Like you can just start a new happy life. and just leave all this shit behind.
Yeah.
And he's like, she'll never listen. He's like, you have to make her. Like, this is the one chance. And and Jaime's like, how do you think Daenerys is going to respond when you break one of her prisoners out of fucking jail? He's like, well, hey, if I manage to come up with a plan that allows us to like her to attain the throne without any bloodshed, well, then maybe she'll consider lenience. And besides, like 1 million innocent lives versus one shitty, like not innocent dwarf. It's a good deal to make. And you're just like, God, fucking Tyrion, I love you.
Yeah.
Even if you've been really dumb this season and like last season, you still got that good heart.
The thing is, when he said that, when he was like, maybe she'll like show mercy to me if I can, I'm like,
no chance in hell.
No chance in hell.
Gotta love that. You always
even
know,
before like the rest of this episode played out, I'm like, there's no chance in hell she's showing you mercy, even if you can take it peacefully.
Yeah, because any betrayal is punishable by death, it seems, these days.
Okay, by dragon death.
And just telling the truth is apparently punishable by death these days.
And another thing that Jaime says is like, oh, so we're just gonna sail past the Iron Fleet. Tyrion's like, bro, there's not gonna be an Iron Fleet
for much longer.
Yeah.
And so we go to the next morning. Battle is like right after dawn in the sunlight, thank God. And
well, that was the thing, right? Daenerys wanted to go like now, and Jon's like, "Oh, we wait till sunlight."
And I feel like that was a slight jab.
We'll wait till dawn.
This is also directed by the same. Just like small mention, this episode was also directed by the same guy who directed episode 3.
Yeah, Miguel Sapochnik.
Yeah,
Miguel Sapochnik.
He's very good. He's a very good director.
Very good.
He also did like Battle of the Bastards and Hardhome and stuff like that.
The best battles.
Yep.
Battle Boy.
Battle Boy. So the Golden Company that Cersei has hired marches out in front of the city gates.
Well, first Arya and the Hound.
Arya and the Hound are sneaking into the city.
Yeah, and Jaime enters on his own.
Yeah, so they're all in the city. Basically, Arya is there to assassinate Cersei. The Hound is there to find his brother and kill him. And they're all in the city when the gates close. And then the Golden Company marches out in front of the city. Why? You have city walls. Why are you outside the city? I don't get why characters keep doing this in Game of Thrones. That's what city walls are for.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I don't know if that's an actual warfare tactic, but it seems common to me. I don't know why.
It's not. It keeps happening in the show and other stuff because it's more visibly representative.
Yeah.
But the whole point of having a fortified, defensible position is that you stay in it.
Yeah.
And no one does.
Yeah. You're right.
Ever. It's like the whole thing. It's like every man inside of a castle is worth like 100 men outside of it.
I'm sorry, are you a wartime general? Do you know wartime strategies?
Middle Ages, yeah. No. No. But I don't know much, but I know that.
Yeah. And okay, so prior to the battle, Daenerys lets Grey Worm and Jon know, like, hey, you will attack the city. You'll know when.
Yeah. You will know when to attack.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be good. And it's like, fuck.
So.
Okay. I want to add, when they lined up in front of the city.
Yes.
From that point on, my heart was beating out of my chest. Like physically, I could feel.
Oh my God, your heart was physically beating out of your chest, not metaphorically?
I could physically feel my heartbeat with every second. It was like I was gripped by this episode.
Oh, I was super stressed out. Like, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. This episode, spoilers, I guess, for jumping forward. My problem with this episode is not this episode. My problem with this episode, because like in isolation, this is an amazing episode of television.
Mm-hmm. But it could
in context, it does so much damage to the show, in my opinion. But we'll get to that soon.
But this is like, even before, like right at this point. No, like even at this point, Tyrion stresses again. Hey guys,
when the bells ring.
And this time it's like the 4th or 5th time he said this.
Yes.
He said it to Jaime. He said it to like Daenerys twice. He keeps saying this, and I'm like, there has to be something that's gonna be wrong. But the scene that we get when Euron is looking up into the sky, Daenerys, I think, finally figured it out. You come straight from above, and they can't angle it that high.
Yep.
Successfully.
And so she just destroys the entire Iron Fleet, no fucking problem.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem at all.
No, she dodges every fucking like, scorpion ballista. They only shoot like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it took to kill the Lost Dragon.
3, yeah.
Oh my God.
The thing was, I guess it kind of makes sense because, you know, we see that it takes a little while to
turn them.
them.
Yeah, so as long as she's close and fast and like approaches them quickly, it makes sense. It's just like, damn.
But he, like Drogon, fucking burns that shit.
Yep.
Euron has to jump
off the boat, and he's just like, "Fuck this, bye."
Bye. Makes sense.
Yeah. And that's true to his character. His next scene isn't.
Yeah. Well.
No, it's not.
Okay, sure. But then she being Daenerys, after burning the fucking fleet.
You're talking about Euron.
Well, after burning the fleet, that's basically signaling. Or no, it's not. That's right. I thought that would have been. I'm like, how did they not?
Because you can kind of hear the sounds of it and stuff, and the characters are like, huh? And you're like, oh yeah, that must be the signal. And that nope, she just from the inside of the city basically out just blows the entire fucking wall of King's Landing open.
Yep.
And like just wrecks the entire Golden Company in an instant.
Yeah, they're basically all dead.
Yeah, so yeah, just her dragon alone basically took out the two things Cersei had going for her giant fleet and the Golden Company that she hired. They accomplished nothing. Both of them accomplished nothing in this battle. One dragon. How did we lose another dragon to this shit? It doesn't matter. Yeah. So she basically just wrecks shop. The Northerners and her army charge into the city, led by like Jon and all of our and Grey Worm and all them.
And Davos for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You're Davos. You're not a good fighter. Why
he
are you
even
on the
says
front
like
lines?
he's not a warrior, and it's like, why are you fucking leading this charge?
One more character we like in the middle of the chaos.
I guess.
Yeah, and so they come up and they like march through the city, do a little bit of fighting, and then they find like just a huge contingent of Lannister guards. Also, Jaime trying to get into the Red Keep. Arya and the Hound managed to get into the actual Red Keep itself. When the gates are closing, Jaime can't quite get in.
Yeah, he has to find a way around.
He has to find another way in.
Because the thing was that Tyrion had basically had Davos, I'm guessing, smuggle a ship,
smuggle a boat
to the little cove where we saw have we seen that cove before?
I don't think so.
But
the fact is, there is a escape path out.
I guess
of
where
Red
Tyrion
Keep.
came in.
Yeah,
where Tyrion came in to see to
for
get
that one meeting with
underneath the Red Keep with Jaime.
Yeah.
He smuggled a boat there to get Jaime and Cersei out.
Yeah, so they could just sail across the sea.
Yep. And so he's like he basically gets in around that way.
Yeah, he's like, oh, well, I guess that's a way in, and so he heads that way.
Yeah, but at this point, the gates closed. People are banging on the door trying to get in.
Yeah, people are freaking out. There's a fucking dragon burning like the walls of the city. She's just strafing the city, burning all of the scorpions.
Yep, burning them all so that none of them can hit her.
There are no scorpions left anymore. This battle has been a fucking rout.
And at this point, Drogon has pretty precise fire aim, just to the scorpions on the walls.
Like, I don't think we've had any accidental casualties at this point.
Not yet.
It's just perfect, precisely. Everything's going great. And so, our forces, the forces of good, for like about 20 more seconds, are standing in front of a group of Lannisters, and it looks like the fighting's about to happen. But these Lannisters are hesitating, and they all surrender.
Yep, they're
like
fuck it.
Fuck this.
Yeah,
we are fucked. This is not going to work out. And they all drop their swords, and they're like, no, we're done. And then you can just see, like, clearly everyone's given up.
Yep.
Everyone surrendered.
And
Qyburn goes to Cersei, and she's like, all it takes is one good shot. And Qyburn's like, all of the scorpions are gone. She's like, the Iron Fleet took out one dragon. They can kill another. Like, the Iron Fleet is gone too. And she's like, oh.
She's like, our men will defend, like the Lannister men will
defend to the last breath. They all surrender.
Yeah, they all surrender. Dany, I think this is when she's positioned herself on the wall.
She lands herself on a wall.
And fucking looks around. And at this point,
you can hear
waiting.
People, you can hear people screaming throughout the city, like, ring the bells, ring the bells.
That was cinematic greatly.
Yes.
Cinematic greatly.
Yes,
cinematically great.
Yeah, and so you can just hear just like the people of the city screaming to ring the bells. And it takes a little while. And then the bells of the city start ringing.
Yeah, I'm like, I thought for sure she was not going to ring the bells. Or like, I mean.
Well, she didn't.
Well, you know what I mean.
But
like, I thought she would at least order to like not ring the bells. And then maybe they'd ring the bells just like fuck you, like we're ringing the fucking bells.
But essentially,
they ring the bells.
They ring the bells. The city is surrendered, and Daenerys has won. All she basically has to do is go to the Red Keep and essentially collect her throne.
Yep, and you can see the zoom in on her face. Okay, have you seen kind of step back? Have you seen Emilia Clarke filming that scene?
No.
Like just on the green screen. Literally all around her is green screen. She's on a green screen dragon.
Uh-huh.
This is like the best performance.
No,
nonverbal
she is so
performance.
good in this episode.
Holy shit.
But she has a fucking crazy look in her eyes. And that's the moment you know,
Yeah,
officially.
she's looking around. She's like,
She's just-
okay, I've won. But she keeps looking. She looks at the red keep, like a symbol for everything that was taken from her family.
Yep.
And she looks around at these people that are not loyal to her, that don't give a fuck about her. And she's like,
Okay, and now there's a moment where then she takes off to the red keep. And you're like, okay, I guess she's going to burn that thing to the
yeah,
fucking
I
ground.
thought for sure. I'm like, you straight for the red keep. That's fine. All well and good. Burn it.
And then she just starts strafing the streets of King's Landing and killing everyone.
All the innocents.
All of them. For no reason. There is no point in doing this. Not really.
There's no point in doing this now.
And this is officially the point when, the thing I think we're all worried about happening came true, and Daenerys goes full Mad Queen.
Yep. Burn them all.
Burn them all. I like how there are moments in the episode where you can see when she's like burning things that like things of wildfire start exploding from the city too.
Towards
so
the end.
clearly she's accidentally activating all of the wildfire that her father had set in the bottom of the city as well.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my God. Yeah. So essentially she just starts destroying all of King's Landing and killing everyone inside of it.
And basically, at least towards the end, because like she starts and it's kind of localized and then it's everywhere. And with like no regard for her own soldiers,
She doesn't care.
no regard for the Northmen,
Doesn't give a shit.
who are now raping people.
Yeah. So as soon as basically Daenerys goes to town, like the Grey Worm, the Unsullied, the Dothraki, and the Northmen are all just like, oh, I guess we're just ransacking and raping the city.
Grey Worm throws the spear.
Yep. He
He's
starts it.
like
doesn't-
he sees Daenerys torching it. And he's
like,
like,
"Good.
I guess we're like great. This is
exactly what I want. I can
Yeah.
to get revenge on all these people.
And he throws the first spear into the Lannisters.
And it's over. And yeah, so like Jon is horrified at everything he's seeing. Like this is just pure chaos. His men are just like going out of control. They're ransacking the city. He like catches one of his men trying to rape a woman. He kills his own man to like save her. But like it's just out of control. He's trying to stop the fighting. He can't. It's just a battle fury.
He says like stop, retreat, like
And they keep
fuck
going.
out of here, stop it. And
He's trying to grab his men. It's just nothing's happening, and it's completely out of his control. And the city goes to hell.
I'm surprised he stayed in the city.
I am too.
To be honest,
But-
like he stayed there. Like I mean, he was still fighting the Lannisters that were fighting him.
Yeah, like he would
want
defend
to.
himself.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, what more do you have to gain here? It's like just fucking leave. You're not gonna be able.
I
to...
think he's still hoping that he can get his men out of the city, which he eventually does.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's just like, fuck, this is terrible. I'm pretty sure this is about the point where we cut to the Hound and Arya in the Red Keep.
Mm.
They are I think Qyburn has finally convinced Cersei to like leave.
Yeah.
And Arya and the Hound have a scene in that map room. And basically, I don't know why they didn't have this conversation like earlier.
Yeah, like upon entry
when
or
it wasn't
upon,
like
leaving.
way too late. But essentially, the Hound is just like, look, girl, like this is fucked. Like they're doomed. If you like, Cersei's gonna die no matter what. Like the dragon will kill her, or somebody will kill her, or like the Dothraki will fucking kill her.
Yeah.
Like she's dead. You don't need to do this yourself. Like your revenge is like it doesn't matter. She's gonna die.
Yeah.
Me, I'm too far gone. All I have left is revenge. For like my entire life, all I care about is killing my brother.
Right.
Do you really want to become me? If you go up there, like I'm gonna die. If you go up there, you'll die too.
Yeah.
And it gets to her, and she's like, "Okay, I guess I'm going home now."
She says, Sandor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, it's such a great moment. She finally calls him by his name, and then he runs off to deal with his brother, and she attempts to escape the city. And she runs off to escape the city.
So this point is really pivotal, I would say, to this episode, to the series as a whole, because it's when Arya kind of takes a step back from this revenge that Sandor is like saying that his life is all about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of characters are have like that similar need for revenge. Daenerys, like her whole like backstory and the whole reason that she wants the Iron Throne is based on revenge for the people that wronged her father and her family. And Arya's entire list is based on revenge. Cersei was on that list. She was
I think
trying
she was
to
the top of that list.
to the top of that list, yeah. And so just like her taking a step back and being like, you're right, this isn't like this shouldn't be my death and like what my life is constrained to. Like that's huge.
Mm-hmm. It is.
And that's like, and we start following her out of King's Landing after that point.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Daenerys has gone. Her focus is now destroying the Red Keep, which, to be fair, what beautiful destruction it was.
It was great.
And she just like cuts that one tower and it just like fucking slides down the hill into the water. I was like,
to the ocean, yeah.
Oh man, and she's just destroying fucking everything. So yeah, Arya starts making her way out. I believe right at this time is also when Jaime gets to the cove and runs into Euron. What a convenience. What a happy convenience that he happens to run into douchebag McPirate face just as he's trying to get inside this fucking thing. And Euron's just like, oh, hey, what's up? We got to kill each other now. Why?
What do you mean, why?
No. Euron's fucking out of it, but his primary concern is his own self-interest. This is shit. Things have gone completely to crap. There's no salvaging this. And he's just like, and literally he's like, I wonder, like, if you kill another king, Jaime, like, they'll never stop talking about you.
He's goading him.
Yeah, I get that. But, like, why does he want to fight Jaime so bad?
Because he's a douchebag McPirateson.
Exactly. It's terrible writing.
Well, I mean, I didn't say his character was written well. But, I mean, I don't think it's not true to his character as being a douchebag. And, I mean, like, okay, if you look at, like, layers deep, he knows that Jaime was fucking Cersei.
Yeah.
He's now fucking Cersei.
Yep.
And he's like, well, fuck you, I'm fucking Cersei, and I'm better than you. And
yeah, but it just feels so dumb. I just thought he was going to fucking steal the boat.
Oh, I don't know.
But, like, I don't know. It just felt so ham-handed.
Like, Cersei wants Jaime dead. Like
but she doesn't. But she, I know. She like hired
like,
Bronn.
I'm
to, like,
sure
kill
that
her.
I'm sure Euron knows that, and he's like, well, I mean, that's why he said like he's gonna bring his head to her. Like,
I know. It felt dumb. It felt super contrived because they needed to deal with Euron, and they also needed to get Jaime mortally wounded.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't really need to get Jaime mortally wounded.
And
he dies completely unrelated to that.
Walks all the way up the stairs.
So like, so they fight, and throughout the course of this fight, he gets stabbed multiple times in very, very bad places.
Yeah.
And then he just stabs Euron, and Euron's just like, I still got you. I'm the man who killed Jaime Lannister. You're like, is that really your concern right now, man? You're dying.
Well, I mean, he's really that like
I know.
kind of person.
I know, but it just felt so stupid. It just felt dumb.
I felt like Euron's character is dumb. Like,
well, I agree. He's a stupid character. Like I don't like him at all, and not in terms of like, oh, I hate that character. Like I hate Cersei, but she's a great character. I hate Euron. He's a bad character. He just like, it feels like he's just there to do whatever the plot needs for another stupid person you just
He was
like.
introduced too late.
I agree. And also, I just don't think like the actor did his best, but I just feel like he wasn't really given anything interesting to chew on.
Yeah.
So he's just like, I guess I'm the crazy guy. Who's like really overpowered and can like beat like incredibly well-trained people, but also can't beat a one-handed man in a fight. Whatever. So Jaime gets into the Red Keep. The Hound, so Cersei, the Mountain, Qyburn, a couple of her guards are heading down the like a tower, trying to get to the Red Keep, like out of the Red Keep to escape. The Hound catches them. The two guards charge up. He kills them. What?
Is that didn't it collapse first?
Oh yeah,
killing most of her guards. Like she had like a
she had a retinue. You're right. And then so the Mountain kind of like goes over her and like protects her, and then you're just like seeing open sky.
Yeah.
In the background. To be fair, cool ass image.
That was a great image.
Yeah,
especially
so
like later on when the Hound gets there.
Yes. Like this tower is just completely fucked.
But the Mountain covers Qyburn and Cersei, and like they survive along with like two guards.
Yep.
Miraculously survive.
As all the rubble collapses on them.
Yeah. And the Hound comes. He kills the two guards. Like, fuck you guys.
Like no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. And the real reason is for the Mountain.
Yep.
He doesn't care about Cersei. He's like, oh, was it your grace or my queen? Some shit.
No, he's just like, he barely pays attention to her at all.
No, he addresses her like,
I know,
your grace.
but like semi-sarcastically, as they do.
Exactly.
But
like he doesn't fucking care.
He does not care about her at all. That's not why he's there.
Yeah.
But the Mountain too, you kind of see like he's like, ugh. And so like he goes walking towards his brother. Now, first of all, this is kind of dumb. It's like, come back to me. And it's like, Well, I mean, do you really want your bodyguard like half an inch away from you when he's fighting against the person who seems to be threatening you?
I think that was the point. Like he didn't want him to go fight. He just wanted to like, or she wanted him to stick by her and then like just rush through.
I know,
and
but
not
it
draw
just
this out.
the fact is, the mountain's like, fuck this, and she's like, Sir Gregor, and he keeps going, and Qyburn's like, go back to your queen. He just murders Qyburn, just
He fucking
smashes his head, just chucks
Qyburn
him.
got Frankenstein. Like,
Yep, his head blew up.
he got by his own monster.
Yep, he did. And yeah, and so Cersei's just like, okay,
It also shows how fucking feeble Qyburn was.
yeah. But Cersei's like, oh shit. And she's like, just walks by the
tiptoes
mountain.
around.
And she kind of like walks by the hound, and the hound's like, whatever, just go. I don't give a shit. And she's like, I'm out. And then we get the fight between
Clegane Bowl.
You know, we finally get Clegane Bowl. It was one of the best parts of the episode.
It was really good. Especially the hound walking up the staircase, the mountain right there with the sky behind him and the dragon breathing fire.
Yep.
The hound just gives no shits.
Nope. So it's the one thing that's always terrified him. It doesn't even matter now because
Yeah.
his brother's finally in front of him.
Yep, the one who gave him that fear in the first place.
Damn right. And so they fight. And it's a great fight. You can skip most of it. He's not like, it doesn't matter where he stabs his brother. It doesn't matter how he hits his brother.
Yeah.
His brother doesn't feel shit.
Oh my god. Okay, so what I loved about this scene was the parallel with Arya.
Yes.
Whenever the hound got beaten down, it would cut to Arya getting
beat down
getting
in
beat
like
down.
in the city. It,
Yeah,
like, it would
during her
specifically keep
escape.
cutting to the scene where she's getting like buried,
Yeah,
trampled
she
by
got
the
at one point she got trampled over by people and she kept hitting the ground like getting stomped on, and that's what it cut.
yeah,
back
keeping
and
her
forth.
cutting between these two scenes of these two characters on now totally opposite trajectories.
Yeah. And yeah, one trying to escape death, the other facing literal like a dead person that he cannot kill.
Yep.
Like this is like the allegory for like the revenge in this series, in this episode, is it's just so far it's consumed him to a point. He like the mountain's dead. Like he cannot kill him. And he kind of realizes that after a certain point, he's like, oh fucking great.
Yeah, just die.
Why won't you die?
No, but he's just like stabbing him in the neck,
Austin
stabbing him in the
Powers.
chest. It's just nothing's working. And he eventually the hound like is grabbed by the throat by the mountain and he's being strangled. And then we get the terrifying callback of then he gets the hands over his eyes and he's starting to get his head
Oh,
squished.
I know, fucking.
I'm just like, oh, I don't need to see this
not
again.
this again.
And so
Oh wait, okay. Well, at this point, his helmet is off, right?
yes.
and
Oh,
he gets
his helmet was off really early.
Yeah, and Darth Vader emerges.
Basically. Just like episode 6, helmet off, Darth Vader.
I've heard mix between Darth Vader and Varys.
Yeah,
People
somebody,
say-
one of my coworkers was just like, I haven't seen the new episode yet. Like, what's up with Undead Varys? I'm like, that's not him. Yeah, so he's getting like his head squished. You can see the blood coming out of his eyes. You're just like,
Ooh.
ugh. But he
he
manages,
got pretty deep in. I'm like, oh, he probably can't see out of at least one eye.
yeah, and so he manages to draw his knife and he just stabs fucking Gregor right through the eye. And he just like takes it like a fucking champ.
Yeah, and he tries to like pull it out.
He
And
starts
I'm like,
pulling out, you're like,
how
what
the
the fuck?
fuck?
And so yeah, you see Sander just like, and yeah, his face is just caked with blood. He kind of opens an eye, and you're just
One
like,
eye.
I'm surprised you have that still.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and he just charges and he just tackles him and his brother off of the tower through some crumbling rubble.
Into
they-
the fire
And they
below.
just fall into the fire below.
So beautiful.
It is. That's one of the moments of the episode that I just unambiguously loved.
Yeah.
It felt like fan service done right in a way that was like true to the characters.
That was great.
And so yeah, Arya is escaping the city. She is being trampled, and she's like kind of rescued by this mother and
It was the
daughter
same
who we've
mother
been
and
cutting
daughter
to.
who could not get into. They're like the last people to get knocked out right behind Arya.
Yeah.
Because Arya and the Hound were the last person to be let into the keep. And then this mother and daughter were like the last people right behind
Yeah,
them
we-
that could not get in.
We've been cutting to them throughout the episode. And so yeah, she's brought up and then she separates from them and she's running, and it's just pure chaos. Like getting into the details of how much chaos goes on, like she is just fucked over left, right, and center. Like it's just the dragon breathing fire. She's barely getting away over and over and over
I was
again.
gonna make a Gendry joke there, but
Poor Gendry. She eventually manages to find a room with some people in it, and it's again the mother and daughter.
okay, that imagery of like her opening that door and seeing those people like disheveled, like bundled up, like holding on for dear life.
Yeah, they all know they're dead, but they
that
have
was
nowhere to go.
Beautiful. That was a beautiful image.
Well, no, again, this whole episode is gorgeously shot.
Yeah.
And yeah, she takes the mom and daughter's like, if you stay here, you will die. Come with me.
Yeah. And it's like, well, she's telling everyone, and then they're like, if we go out there, we're gonna die. And she's
Yeah,
like,
so she just grabs the mom and
she
daughter.
literally
Like,
just drags them out.
yeah, she's like, come on.
I was like, what the fuck? Like,
And so they go. They're running through the streets. Dothraki charge through, slash at the mom. She goes down. She goes up. She kind of gets the mom up. The daughter's like going at her. They're going. You can tell the mom is just not gonna make it.
And Arya knows that, and she
Arya
just
knows
grabs
it.
the daughter. She's
Well,
like,
no,
fuck
and
it.
her mom's like, just take her and go. And so
Did she say
Arya,
that? I didn't
yes,
notice. Okay.
yeah. And so Arya grabs the daughter and they start running, and you fucking see Drogon and Daenerys coming in from the background, and you realize everything's about to go, like this whole street's about to get like burned, and at the last second, like the daughter just like runs out of Arya's arms, runs right back to her mom, and Arya's like, ah, and she just keeps going, hides behind a wall. Everything gets fucking torched.
Ash
Yes.
everywhere.
And so we get our image. The slight twist on the image that Daenerys saw in the House of Undying. It seemed like the all of King's Landing and the throne room were consumed in snow.
Mm-hmm.
It's ash.
It was ash.
And so, yeah, the entire city is covered with ash. Arya just looks so fucked up.
Yeah, and she goes back and sees a little burnt mama daughter.
Yep. With the little wooden horse
kind
toy.
of a callback to was it Shireen? Is that her name?
I mean, I don't think it's a real callback to that, but kind of.
It's the same.
I know.
They
Yeah.
both had a little horse.
A little horsey toy.
Yeah.
Yep. And she sees that, and then she just randomly finds a horse.
A white horse.
A white horse.
Death rides in a pale horse.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get the imagery.
Yeah.
But I mean, talk about just a beautiful image. And so yeah, she gets on the horse and she rides out of the city. Basically, meanwhile, Jon has managed to get most of his forces like out of the city, just running away because they're just not safe in there anymore. Yeah. And that's basically where the episode ends. King's Landing has been completely fucked up. The Red Keep is gone, and the only thing we really haven't touched on was Jaime found Cersei in the map room again.
Oh, right.
The last place they had seen each other. How convenient.
All right.
And
I didn't totally forgot about that.
Yeah, and she just like, she's just crying. She's just distraught. Like, it's all gone. It's all gone to shit. And he takes her, and he's just wounded as hell. And he's like, we got to get out of here. They go down to the basement, to the crypts, and they're trying to like escape. And their escape route is completely avalanched in. Like, there's no way out.
As is every other escape route.
Yeah, there is no way out of the thing. And Cersei is just sobbing. And she's just like, I don't want to die. Not like this. Not like this. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. And Jaime just like holds her, and he has that callback. It's like, nothing else matters. Nothing but us. And then you can just see in the background, the whole fucking place is collapsing. And it just collapses on top of them, and they're both dead.
Yep.
What a horribly unsatisfying Cersei death.
Yeah.
She's just killed in the dark where no one will know where she was. And like, is that kind of poetic? Sure. It's also just not interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wanted like some grand like moment of like the hero kills her or Arya finally checks off the list. But like, it just is like, and she's dead. Like, rocks fall, everyone died.
Classic D&D trope.
Okay, cool. I'm so glad that this is what our journey has led to. I'm so glad Lena Headey, what a great actress that she is playing a great character, was given a whole season where she just sat on balcony, sipped wine, cried a bit, and then died. And so what we have here is an episode that, generally speaking, when you describe it, doesn't sound like there's that much wrong with it. Because generally speaking, the episode, like I had said earlier, as a singular entity, is actually a pretty solid work of television. The problem is, it doesn't feel earned. Daenerys going evil, you knew it was coming, not super necessarily because of her character arc, but because people kept talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Foreshadowing is not character development. No, it's not.
I know it's not, but
You're saying that there was a character arc that led here? Look, you can make an argument for why she goes this way. You want to know why you can make that argument? It's because that's how the books are going to go. So the reason that there are character motivations for the things that happen here is because this is going to essentially be the ending of the books. They were told how the series ended, and like everyone's gone on record saying like, yeah, generally speaking, in wide strokes, this is how the books end. So there is motivation in the characters and like their backstories and stuff that lead them to where they are. The problem isn't that, it comes out of nowhere. The problem is that it comes to us in very awkward and unrealistic and unnatural feeling ways, in my opinion.
okay.
So Daenerys going evil, it was always there. There was always that possibility. Everyone goes online, it's like, hey, look. Daenerys has burned people before. She's done like morally questionable things. But she's also never hurt innocents. She has never just brutally, without care, massacred innocent people. Everyone she has killed, likable, unlikable, they were threats in her way that she felt needed to be handled. Even just back to last season, like even back to the season before, like when she did things, even when they were a bit shady, there was a reason for it. She just flicked a switch in this episode. And I know there were like things that led to it, but the difference is episode 1 of this season, episode 2 of this season, basically episode 3 of this season. I mean, yeah, there are like problems, there are little doubts, but like she is not 2 hours away from becoming the Mad Queen. She's not. It comes out of almost nowhere. It basically, over the course of one episode, she goes from a basically well-adjusted human being to just being moments away from just killing 1 million people alive. She went from being one of our prospective heroes in the show to literally being the worst person that's ever happened to Westeros. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't feel earned. That feels drastic. It's like, yes, you can follow a causal chain of events that led her here. They happened basically over the course of one episode. Because it was the second half of episode 4 to the first half of episode 5. Throughout the course of that period of time, she basically lost her fucking mind. And that is hard to swallow.
Yeah.
And the only reason that it feels like, well, it was inevitable was because for the last couple of seasons, we keep having characters go like, I don't know, maybe this was a poor decision, or, oh, she's a moment away from like flying off the handle. It didn't feel like it. There were moments when she did things that you questioned, like when she burned the Tarleys, that you're like, did not need to do that one, but you could at least understand it. And they refused to bend the knee. Now, do I agree with this decision? No. It was a terrible choice, but it wasn't inconsistent with her values.
Yeah.
You understood why it happened. This is inconsistent with everything Daenerys has been. Daenerys, her goal is protecting the innocents. It's relieving people from their chains. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the people of Westeros, like, she got mad at the people of Westeros because they weren't like immediately like throwing off the shackles of oppression and like throwing Cersei to the wolves. But like, this has been their fucking lives. This is all they know forever. Like, that's their ruler. Maybe they don't love him, but you know, and they will be willing to turn their back on him if like, you know, all hope is like, if things, you know, are going that way. But like to expect like the people to like fucking overthrow the Red Keep and stuff, it just, I don't know. These are an oppressed people. Like, undoubtedly. And she just didn't care. Mm-hmm. And she killed them all.
Yeah.
And again, yes, you can come up with reasons why she did it. And yes, there is a causal chain of events that lead us here. But it's just too quick and too drastic of a change. And then they basically try and explain it in this episode. You're like, hey, half of all Targaryens are crazy anyway. I guess her switch just got flipped. And you're like, that's not how human beings work. If you're born crazy, like there are things that you can be born with that affect you. But she has basically been a normal person until she wasn't. And she just became a tyrant. And it just, I've never been the hugest Daenerys fan. Like, I like her, she's fine, but like, I always kind of had a feeling she wasn't going to end up on the throne. Kind of always had a feeling that like, you know, she was going to go too far. But not like this.
Yep.
I don't know. It bugs me in a way that is hard to properly express.
Okay, I can see that. It bugs a lot of people.
Yes, it does. But it doesn't seem to bug you.
A lot of people have the same values. I can see and read about online. The only thing is, I do disagree. Well, I wouldn't say disagree. I agree with a lot of the points, but I think there's more to it. I say yes. We have seen it coming. Like there were some decisions that she made that were morally questionable along the way, and like there probably could have been and should have been. Should have possibly been like a longer drawn out like descent into madness. I would say that would have been more satisfying to most people. But what I think of kind of comes from the perspective of like the show overall and kind of the messages that it has and various things that go along with that. I do agree also that her change was like a flip of a switch, right? It was like the course over the course of about 1.5 episodes that she totally goes cuckoo bananas and fucking wreck shop for seemingly no reason, basically. So the fact that like you are right in that it like the descent her descent into madness kind of occurs on the flip of a switch over the course of about an episode or an episode and a half, where it's like seemingly out of nowhere. And in that, it kind of, to me, falls in line with the show in that, going back to episode 3 with the Long Night, the Battle of Winterfell, like the show seemingly to the audience has been built up to be this like the big bad evil guy was the Night King, right? Mm-hmm. This whole thing was coming to a head at Winterfell or wherever in the battle against the undead, and that was really the quintessential antagonist of the whole show, and that this supernatural element was at the core of everything that threatened humanity. But I feel in true George R.R. Martin fashion, it's really humanity itself that is not the bad guy, but that like when it collapses in on itself and is the real antagonist is just humanity. It comes down back to the people, and it doesn't have to be like the supernatural when in the end it's literally just a fucking woman. I mean, on a dragon, yeah, supernatural, but a woman burning the fucking Capitol down to smithereens, out
of crazy spite.
Yeah, like that seems totally in line to me, and the fact that she snapped like just shows how fragile like humanity is. It wasn't that she just like snapped. There were like crucial causes to it that like you can argue for or against as to like would that actually have that effect on a person. But it's like if you look at it, you know, she had these loyal advisors that she relied on for everything, and were kind of like holding her back from certain decisions, you know, trying to steer her in the right direction. She had Jorah, whom she loved, not in the same way that he loved her, who died right in her arms. You have Missandei, who was decapitated right in front of her by her enemy. You have her dragon, which was the second out of 3 that died, right in front of her as well.
Daenerys Stormborn, mother of Drogon.
Mother of Drogon. And you have Varys, who betrayed her. I mean, whether or not she put much stock in him because she knew that he was going to betray her anyway. But either way, like all these advisors that were kind of holding her back from making these rash decisions, like they're all gone. All these the people that are closest to her, like all with like mostly within the span of like a few days or like a day, and that can have like a totally visceral effect on somebody. Whether or not it's like to this degree, like that can be argued, but I think it's totally in line with the show, like just how fragile humanity is, and like snapping like that is totally possible.
Okay. I completely understand what you're coming from. My only counter argument is, does it feel satisfying?
To me, yes.
And to me, absolutely not.
That's basically what it comes down to. Like people, whether or not they like have had a vision of like where the show's gonna go,
and I like
or
to point out
how it will develop in that way. And when it's not being met, some people aren't satisfied by that. Some people don't give a fuck. And it's really, I don't want to say like they're not looking into it enough, but there are some people who don't like want to think about it overall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of just like, oh, this is like a good show.
Yeah,
And
they're not thinking about it thematically. They're not thinking about it. No, I understand where you're coming from.
Analyzing it, they're more thinking of it like just
like, oh, I like this character.
at
Oh,
face
they're
value.
cool.
Like, oh, why did she just go crazy? That doesn't make sense. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I can see that, and that's a certain way of taking in television, and it is just that television at this point.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think. I mean, I guess that would be the majority of people because that's what I see. But there's like, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But I don't think that this episode or this season discredits the series as a whole.
I've never stood by the argument that like a bad ending makes a whole series bad.
Yeah. This is one of the, if not the like greatest television series of all time.
Yeah.
Like it is just amazing.
It is. And yeah, nothing really can take away from that, from its moments of greatness. I hate when people view things like that. There's something you said I think you need to be a little bit careful about there. There are a lot of people going around. The counter to a lot of people on the internet, a lot of the people that kind of are lining up where I feel, is just like, this wasn't what you wanted, this wasn't what you expected, so it's bad.
Yeah.
That's not true.
There are some people.
Yes.
No. I'm not
that's
saying
absolutely
everyone.
true. But I'm just saying, but that
Some
discredits.
people do have like gripes with the, as you said, the character development, like very technical things that they can and should be upset about.
Mm-hmm. These aren't the characters I fell in love with.
Right.
Over like the last couple years. It feels like they are like two-dimensional versions of themselves that hold on to like one or two personality traits.
Right. I could see that too.
And they just kind of follow those personality traits to the end. It's like Tyrion is just dumb now. He makes terrible decisions. He doesn't know how to play the game at all. He does, and like he betrays like essentially his best friend. He
Yeah.
like Varys, the man who saved his life and who's always supported him.
I mean, he says basically, I think in the episode previous, where it was like you find something to believe in, and then you stick to that,
even when you know it's wrong.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I could see that he went with that, but at the same time, it's like,
I know, but like that's annoying, and like again, he just makes bad choices. He trusted Cersei. Like over the last couple seasons, it's just like the character of Tyrion has been done some damage to. I still love him because he still has like his good heart and stuff, and it's just like, and he's usually, even if he's not intellectually correct anymore, he's still morally correct a lot of the times.
Yeah.
But like that just hurts. Like Cersei just she doesn't do anything anymore. She just like sits in her castle. Jaime just, and again, I don't really have problems with Jaime forsaking his redemption arc. It actually doesn't feel super false to me.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are really upset by that. It upset me, but not in terms of like that's bad writing. It's just like, God damn it, Jaime.
Because that's another argument people had was like, oh, it's lazy writing. I don't think it's lazy writing. I think like people were like, oh, he has this whole redemption arc and then you throw it away. It's like that's
not
like,
unrealistic.
That's true to life. Like he's in a toxic relationship, like that happens a lot of the time.
Yep, and he saw something good, but he realized like it's not what I really feel.
Yeah,
like, I really love my stupid fucking twin sister of evil. Like God damn it, Jaime. But Jon is just literally, what is his, he only has one line this season, that's my queen.
Basically over and over again.
But it's just like, what is Jon accomplishing as a character? Nothing. He's just become a supporting character in the show where he just goes around and he's like, yeah, I may be the true heir, but I don't want to be. And like, Daenerys is my real queen. That's all he does. He doesn't accomplish, like, what does Jon actually accomplish this season? Besides learning who he really is and telling his sisters. Nothing. Like, he isn't doing anything. He's not proactive. He's not, like, this isn't the Jon that we know either. Like, not like Jon is like some manipulative schemer or whatever, but Jon takes action when he senses something wrong. Mm-hmm. Every time, whenever there's been a problem he's come up to, he takes action. And he's done nothing. I mean, it's just like, the only character who feels fucking true to themselves is fucking Sansa and Arya. Like, the Stark sisters are like, I mean, Arya, I'm a little badass and I want to kill things. And again, I don't hate that she like went away from her. It seemed a little easy to convince her to stop trying to hunt for vengeance. And like, maybe you should have had this conversation before you're like already in like the hardest place in the city to escape, but whatever. It's kind of like, but I'm glad she didn't do it. still disagree with
Yeah.
like how it's done.
So continue your point.
But yeah, Sansa's just like, I'm Sansa. And I'm like, yeah, you are.
But with Arya, she is the prince who was promised. That was like
Except she's not. She doesn't fulfill the prophecy at all.
well, I mean they canonically supported that she was, and I'm like, okay. Because Weiss and Benioff had said that she was. Okay, whatever. That's weird. But
But yeah, again, like she really, of all the people that people have stretched to fit that prophecy, she doesn't.
yeah. But speak like with prophecies, no matter how close they fit, I guess she is prophesied
all.
to. She shot brown eyes, blue eyes, which ended up being the Night King, and
so
green eyes.
dumb.
Everyone was like saying that green eyes was going to be Cersei. Obviously, it's not, unless for
Is it
some
gonna be
miraculous reason
Daenerys?
she lives. But
Somebody did point out that like Daenerys' eyes are looking awfully green anymore.
are they not? Like,
No, but it's just like they keep like brightening up the colors of her eyes.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's supposed to be violet in the books, right?
I
And then
know.
It's like they're not.
Exactly.
I don't know if they just didn't do
It's
that.
not in the books anyway. This whole like prophecy from Alessandra and stuff. That's not in the
that
books
one.
at all.
Okay. Then okay. Maybe that would have made it.
No, I
too
guarantee
easy.
you that was a thing they retconned into meaning this. I guarantee when she said
Probably.
that line, that was not the plan.
That's
Considering they even said that, we knew Arya was going to be killing the Night King for like the last couple years. That was in season 3?
possible. Yeah.
So there's no way that was intentional. And also they made like the big deal about blue eyes. That was the thing that was said in the middle. Like,
Yeah, I know. I was
she
like,
rearranged it when she said it this time.
Yeah.
But this is
okay.
what I'm trying to say. This is it feels like Weiss and Benioff are trying to make the show seem smarter than it is, and actually just makes you feel dumber.
Yeah. But so they thought it was Cersei. It wasn't Cersei. That leaves 2 people that are probable. One more than the other. She still has one person left on her list. Ilan Payne, who has green eyes.
Yeah, but the actor for Ellen Payne is dead.
I mean, will that stop them recasting?
Why would they recast someone just to kill him arbitrarily off like out of nowhere?
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's like that's the last person on her list. Yeah, but I mean, it's probably not gonna have the same. It's not gonna have a really satisfying effect.
Nope.
I mean, it would be like poetically just in a sense, like he killed her dad and whatever.
Yeah.
That's still the
not
revenge
gonna
thing
happen.
that she kind of just forsake.
Exactly.
forsook.
She's not gonna. I don't think she's gonna kill anybody else.
Well,
I know you're building to her being the one to take down Daenerys.
I don't know.
I don't think she's gonna, and I don't think she's gonna kill anybody else. First of all, I'm honestly would be super annoyed if Arya like deals with every big bad we run across.
Yeah.
That's really annoying. Look, there's only one character who I feel there are only 2 characters who I feel would be narratively appropriate to kill Daenerys at this point. And there's no way Daenerys is getting out of next week alive. No chance in hell.
Is one Tyrion?
Yes.
Okay.
Tyrion or Jon.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, see, the thing is with Jon, like I feel like that's the direction it's gonna go. But like if I think about it, if we're throwing character out the window, then I guess it doesn't really care. It doesn't really matter. But I mean, he is like a man of honor, right?
Yeah.
Would he become the Queenslayer? Like the same as Jaime? He'll be Jaime's parallel.
Again, I feel like old Jon, maybe. This Jon, no.
Exactly. Like I don't feel like he as
So if
where
it
his character
happens,
is
but here's the
now-
thing. That doesn't mean I don't think it'll happen in the show.
Yeah, I know.
That's
That's
my
what
problem.
I'm saying.
Like that, but that's like hugely fundamentally a problem with the show. It's like, would Jon do that? I don't think so. Would show Jon do that at this point? Probably, because that's narratively, it's like, oh, who would see it coming? He's probably like, my queen, stab. And they're like, whoa, what a shock. And that's like their reasoning for doing it. And then they try and like ham fist in a reason,
Maybe.
plot wise. That's what I'm worried about. And Tyrion, I don't think he's going to get a chance, just strictly based, I'm sure, he's immediately going to go on trial for treason.
Yeah. Ooh.
Like, I'm super,
I mean, like trial where she's the Queen of Ashes.
yeah, I know. Like, fucking
Like
hell.
there's literally no King's Landing left.
No, not really.
No.
It's all gone.
So Ash.
It's
Like
just burnt to a fucking crisp.
when that happened, when she started burning the whole city, I'm like, fuck, where's this gonna go? I was like, there's not gonna be a fucking capital anymore.
I mean, those shots from like next week on Game of Thrones showed them in the ruins of King's Landing.
Yeah, the ruins. They're not gonna fucking rebuild that shit.
I know they're not. It's too much cost.
Yeah.
First of all, who's going to shovel out all that ash? And
Yeah.
dead people.
Oh, so many dead people.
There's no people left to shovel the dead people because they're all dead.
Yeah. The thing is, like, even if she, like, I mean, if she gets it, what she did at this point, Like, where does she plan on ruling from if she fucking built the ring?
Dragonstone,
From
I
Dragonstone,
guess?
but it's across the bay.
I know. It's dumb. She's not thinking. She doesn't give a shit. She's insane now.
Yeah.
Nothing she's gonna do is gonna be rational moving forward until somebody kills her.
You wanna get-
Or the show is just gonna be like, and she's queen now. The end. Which is the least satisfying decision.
You wanna get into more theories? Like
Not
just theories. Not.
The problem is I don't know how to separate the theories I have from the things I've read that might happen. Like actually. And so I just
Okay. Well, I mean, I do have I can remember 2 theories. I don't know. I mean, okay. I want to get out there the things that I had in my mind beforehand, probably.
okay, cool.
One of the things that I had thought beforehand, and I don't think it's plausible anymore, is basically. Actually, no. Is it only one thing I'm thinking of? I had so many theories that they always basically diverged or went into one, which actually might happen, but might not. So Daenerys is Queen of Asher. There's no fucking capital anymore.
Yeah.
She dies
Mhm.
from whoever's hand.
Almost definitely.
Yeah. Say if Jon were to rule,
Which
then-
I don't think will happen.
Yeah, but if he were to rule, he'd probably be from the north. But if not, then he fucks off or he dies too. Sansa becomes Lady of Winterfell and rules from the north. Not necessarily at that point, the Seven Kingdoms fall apart.
Yeah. No, I mean, there are really only 2 ways the show can go from here. And I don't think there's enough time for the good one, which is why I think that's what's going to happen. So there's the bad ending, essentially, where, Westeros is fucked, and the Seven Kingdoms break apart, and they aren't united anymore because of everything she's done. She broke the wheel, all right, and the whole goddamn cart.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just... I just think things have just been forever ruined by what they've done.
Yeah. And that's humanity.
That's one option the ending will go. I think the other option the ending will go is just we've learned from our mistakes, and now we can do it better than we've ever done it before. See one person ruling. It's just I don't know. It's see one person who's a king is it's not going to work. So democracy or something stupid like that.
Democracy.
I don't know, but something stupid like that. It's all the the kings and queens of the Seven Kingdoms all rule together as a council. I don't fucking know. But the fact is, it's going to be something like that, which they don't have time to set up in a single episode where they also have to deal with Daenerys. So it's it's either we get a bad ending, which is just depressing, or we get an ending that I feel like they're going to rush their way into. And neither of those
Well, they've already
options
rushed
feel
pretty
satisfying.
far.
Yes, I know. Again, why did they not just accept the full 10 episode season? It's neither here nor there. So that's my concerns about going into next week. We're a few days out from the finale right now, and I am worried. I don't think I'm going to be satisfied by this ending. I hope I'm wrong. And for everybody like Chase who is still enjoying the show, I'm very happy for you. I hate when I don't like things, but I'm mad at this show.
I hate when I hate
because I
things.
feel a bit betrayed by it because I've been on this journey for a huge chunk of my life,
Yeah.
and I feel like they don't have the same respect for the show that they used to. And I feel like ever since they separated from the books, the writing quality has gone down and things just feel rushed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a bummer. That's really where I'm at. I'm just bummed. I wish I was still in love with the show as much as I was when I walked into this season.
Yeah.
And maybe the ending will turn around. Maybe I can't see all the pieces that have been lined up and it'll all work out perfectly because they planned this for so fucking long. But I tell you right now, I will be shocked if by this time next week we aren't recording an episode talking about how the entire internet is so fucking pissed off. And this is the most hated episode in TV history or something. Which I'm telling you, it's probably going to happen.
It's going to beat the end of Lost.
See, I'm one of those people who like the end of Lost.
I never watched
See, I'm going to be one of the people that
Lost,
likes the end of Game of Thrones, and I'll be in the
And again,
lower minority.
Good for you. Again, I wish I did. Well, I don't think there's really much else to say. We're all just, Cheyenne doesn't watch the show, but Chase and I are just sitting here trepidatiously kind of cautious of where this thing is going to end.
We'll see.
We will indeed.
You see this? Your guys' emotions here? This is why I stopped watching. I couldn't handle it.
You were a season in.
Yeah. Well, because I read the books too.
I know.
So.
But did you? Or
Yeah.
did you just only read the parts
Okay.
of the books that you...
I skimmed the Lannisters.
The unimportant characters that
Yeah.
don't
Okay.
matter.
Yeah, I know.
There's only one left.
That's true. Yeah, I think that kind of wraps everything up. We're just,
Oh wait, I have a quote
Sure.
that I feel is kind of
Apropos?
important.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
Kyle, you're
I
a
think it's
dum-dum.
no, I think it's the backbone of like George R. Martin's whole series.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, "We are only human, and the gods have fashioned us for love. That is our great glory and our great tragedy." And in one of the episodes, I saw this clip on the news because the news spoils all of Game of Thrones.
The day after. Yeah.
The day after. So I've actually known like some of what you guys have been saying. Daenerys says, "Far more people in Westeros love you than love me. I don't have love here. I only have fear."
Mhm.
And I think that's like the writers have kind of like stuck to the love thing.
Well, yeah, that was like Jamie and Cersei, Jon
Yeah.
and Daenerys. And that's
So
also
at
the
least they did
tragedy
that,
we
right?
follow them. Yeah.
And the little girl and the mother, she's like, "No, mommy, I love you."
Well, it's all love. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all love.
Yeah.
What's love got to do with
The
it?
whole thing.
Yeah. It's very
tragedy.
human, and humans are stupid.
If you think this has a
and
happy ending,
this
you haven't
is-
been paying attention.
I know that.
Exactly.
I wasn't expecting a happy ending.
I feel like it's gonna start over. Like the world is gonna be
Wiped.
not wiped.
No, man.
It's not the ending of this
Not-
show anymore.
Not wiped, but I think they're gonna basically be where the show started
Oh, what do you know?
because humans are stupid.
Oh, wait. That's. Well, I mean,
Did you never consider that
Politically.
that's how that would go?
No. I mean, the show started after. I mean, like, the base of the show was started.
By the death
By-
of John Aaron.
Well, yeah. But I mean, like, before that, the whole, like, the death of the Mad King was, like, the big part of Robert Baratheon.
20 years before the
Well, I
show
mean,
started.
but like that was like the setup for the whole
Yes.
plot. Besides the death of John Aaron, was Robert Baratheon's
Robert's rebellion. Yeah.
Yeah, and which,
And that was caused by love.
not rape.
Not rape, but love. The fact remains, I'm mad at the show. Chase makes some good arguments. I'm still mad at the show. And but I think the important thing for all of us to remember going into the finale of Game of Thrones, just keep an open mind. And when you're angry, you're probably right. Okay. So thank you.
Or read the books.
Yeah,
'Cause
I would
the-
love to.
the
books
two
have
that
time to do everything according to George R. Martin.
Well, I mean,
Well, I would love
If he would
to.
release the book, yes, I am aware.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you everybody for listening. I'm pretty sure most of the people listening right now are just right where we're at. Actually,
right where I'm at. Yep.
yeah. We'll see. Hopefully this episode gets up before the finale airs so you all can feel our pain. Or what's also probably happening is because most of the people that are going to listen to this just overall are going to listen to it after the episode airs. This might be very outdated information.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, nonetheless.
Yes. So I'm Kyle Grubb.
I'm Chase Matherly. If you want to give us a shout, you can tweet at
Cheyenne.
Zym Media.
Cheyenne
on
was about
Twitter.
to say your name. Then you kept talking.
Hurry up, man.
I'm done.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Cheyenne.